Hey everyone, welcome to another video. So if you guys are again wondering how does the system design of Bumble looks like, or you're curious to learn, then this video is going to be for you. So before we get started, if someone is new to the channel, I would just like to give a brief intro about me and then the channel. So my channel generally talks about DSA and design. Who am I? I have more than 2000 rating on Lead Code. I am working at Microsoft, and last year when I went on a switch journey, I received 10 job offers. Fortunate enough, and during that time, as I appeared for HD2, I had close to 3 years of experience. And then HLD, high level design was one of the main rounds that was there in almost all the interviews. So probably out of this 100, I would have given like 20-25 HLD, and I failed only one or two. And during those time, I have learned quite a few things. So this is going to be around that, right? And if someone is new to the channel, I would again suggest watch it 1.5x, and then we do have a live stream at 10 p.m. every day, right? To just tell a little bit on the offer. So these were the some of the companies where I was able to get offer, and these were some of the companies and more where I was rejected. But I did went through all the loops in these companies also. So the video experience, our interview experience is on the channel. Feel free to give it a go. Okay. So coming to system design unleash episode 4, right? So today we are going to talk about Bumble, right? So if anyone is not aware about what Bumble is, right? So Bumble is a dating app. It's a dating app where users, or you can say people, can connect with other people, right? Based on the swipes, right? So basically you can swipe right if you like someone, and if the other person also does the swipe right, so then basically it's a match, right? And then you can talk to each other, meet each other if your luck falls out, right? So uh, so that is the Bumble, right? I think if you are not heard of Bumble, Tinder is also there, and then other applications like Hinge, I think these are also there, right? So what is this System Design Unleashed series about, right? Just a 1 minute time on that is, so this video like covers high level approach, because I have read so many articles, I have read system design books, I have followed different websites, right? All of those are good, but one thing is that all of those are more than 1 hour video. Let's say if you're watching for the first time, or if you just want to go do a deep dive, right? You have a lot of time in your hand, right? Then those are like the best resources out there. But let's say you have already done, now you want to revise it, right? At that time, there are not many resources, and this is one of the idea that I got, that what if we can summarize a design, or if we can like collaborate all the knowledge in 20 minutes, so that if you watch this on 1.5x, so you can probably spend 10 to 15 minutes, and then the topic is revised for you, right? So that is the aim there. Now I've already spent close to 3 minutes, so we'll not spend more time, and then we'll get started to the problem statement. So I would suggest watch till the end and let me know if you have any comment in the feedback in the comment, right? So coming to what this is, right? So this is like fully prepared you, right? This could be you. Now, what you learned and what you get asked is a very different things, right? So that's what I will spend. So everything about design revolves around. So in a design interview, you can talk about functional requirement, you can talk about non-functional, capacity estimation, database schema, API design, high-level design, component deep dive, scripts. So this scripts is something that I have designed. So caching, replication, indexing, sharding, whatever, right? You can talk about all of these things, right? And you learn in this way also. All the websites, all the articles, right? They do teach in this format, which is really good. But in my 20 interviews of HLD, right, I have never been asked everything around this, because it is not possible, right? So what actually in an interview setting happens is, based on my experience, is that you are given a problem statement, and then you have to come up with non-functional and functional requirements, right? Functional first and then non-functional. And then the interview straight away asks to do the high level design, right? There is no, they always say that it has happened with me. They always say that database schema, API design, capacity, we can come to that later. That is like, you can come to that later, but let's move to the high level design, right? But it is tough to move that high level design before designing at least the core components of the system, right? So that's why what I'll be doing is I'll be talking about these things only, right? And so if you are, your interview is coming close, then you can just use this as a quick revision, right? Or if you have never seen how does the Bumble design looks for you, then this is really going to be for you. Okay, with that said, let's start with our functional requirements, right? So, what are the functional requirements of a system like Bumble, right? So, a user can create a profile, right? So, first thing, user can create a profile with photos, preference. Let's say I am going to Bumble, I can upload my profile and I can get 4 to 5 very fashionable or fancy, attractive pictures which will attract the other gender, right? So, and then you can also have your interest and you'll have to enter your age and also the age that you want to get matched with, right? So if I take example of mine, anywhere from 18 to 30, 30, 35, anything, right? So I just want to make this video fun also. Don't kill me in comment. So so now in that also you can also specify a match range. So if let's say I'm in Punjab, I would want some match to be around Punjab, not somewhere in the south, right? Or not somewhere in the Bangalore, right? So that's another match distance, right? And then so when I open a Bumble, I have created a profile. Now I should see a view of stack so that I can either do a swipe right or I can do a swipe left, right? With respect to their preference, and it should be based on my preference, right? If I like the opposite gender, right, then it should be from that gender, right, based on my preferences. And then user can swipe right. I have the power to do swipe right and left, which is just a boolean yes or no. And then if let's say I liked someone and the other person has already liked me, so then it's a match, right? We both have swiped right, so it's a match in that case. So that's the functional requirement, right? And this is something that you will have to come up yourself. Only problem statement that will be given by the interviewer is that design Bumble or design any dating app, right? A name could be changed, but it would be just a dating app, right? Now, this is the features of the system, right? So, but what next we want to talk about is what are the non-functional requirement, right? So, if I have to distinguish in between these two, so the functional requirements are what the features of your system, right? What the system is supposed to do. And non-functional requirement is like how part of how it will do all that of stuff, right? So now for this also generally non-functional requirements, it revolves around these three category, four, six words that I have created. LCS, DFS, these are very popular in terms of data structures, but here it has different meaning. So L stands for low latency, right? And so low latency where, right? So where do we need low latency in Bumble? So when I open my Bumble app, right? I should see a stack of people fairly quickly. It should not be like that I'm waiting for 10 minutes and the stack is empty. Maybe I look that bad, there is no one that is that is similar to me. That is a separate case, but still, in that case also we should show some people, right? It should not be like empty because that will give a bad user experience. Now coming to so this LCS DFS, you don't have to point this out to the interviewer. This is just for you to remember which areas that you have to tackle in an interview, right? Coming to cap theorem, right? So again, if you don't know about cap theorem, please go read about it. The aim of this video is not to teach you cap theorem, but there is a concept, uh, design concept cap theorem that you should be aware about. Now in this, we have to choose either consistency or availability because network partition is given. So here what I'm going to choose is consistency because if let's say I have given yes to someone, right, that yes should never be lost, right? So for example, what I mean by that is that if I have put a yes to someone and simultaneously someone also added a yes to me, right? So then that becomes a match. Now if both of those yes are not saved and not compared at that given moment, so it will result in that the system is not consistent and even though we both said yes, but it never resulted in a match, right? So because we never prioritized right over read. So that is the consistency over availability, and scalability is really straightforward. You can come up with this numbers and then based on the population, and then you can say that okay, 10K requests per second. So I always kind try to generalize it with 10K because 10K is a fairly good number in any system, right? Again, I have never seen interviews being stuck on this because they do know that we have to create a scalable design. So not many interviewers really care about this, right? But still, if it comes up, you should know, right? And then the system specific requirements are always there for this. It should be like don't show repeated people for same user. If I have already, let's say, swipe right, that is okay. If I have swiped right someone, probably that will not come. But if let's say I have swipe left someone, right, then ideally it should not come back to me again, right? Then I would have a bad user experience. Or if you take an example of, let's say, some beautiful actress is there, and then you are showing my profile to her every time, and then she is swiping me left and left, so it's a bad experience for her, right? So that is the point of this, right? So this is enough, right? After this, you have to come up with a high level design. So when you were thinking of these two, right, some things should come to your mind. So let's highlight what of the things should come to your mind, right? So this profile should come to your mind. It should like stay with you when you're thinking of this. And then user should come to your mind, and then this match should come to your mind, and then this swipe should come to your mind, right? These are some of the important aspects. But as the interview will say, right, let's move to the high level design. So that is what we are also going to do. So let's move to our high level design. Don't worry about all the components. I'll be explaining them on the go. But let's curious go from here, right? So this is me, Jagrit on Bumble. So I am on Bumble anyway, right? You can check out my Bumble or check out my Instagram, right? So I like to connect with new people, FYI. So me, I am using the Bumble app, right? This is the client side of the thing, right? At the UI side of the things. And first, what I did is I did the create profile. So what is going to happen in the create profile? As this Bumble has multiple features, it has swipe functionality, it has match functionality. So a lot of things are there. So anyway, I'm going to go with the microservice architecture, right? So that's where we will have the very straightforward thing. So you want to create a profile. So there will be a API gateway. Why API gateway? It's like a traffic management system, just like we have for the roads, we have a traffic control. In the same way, when you have microservices, don't think of these. What are these? These are, think of these are like some services, some servers, and each server is meant for some X function, right? Now, API gateway's job is that to based on the request, right? So this would be coming from slash profile. So from that, it has to identify which microservice this has to route to, right? So that is one of the main function of this. Other than that, apart from that, it can also do authentication and also rate limited. And also one of the things in production system is that every request is added a request ID so that it is better to track the logs and also better to find the bugs later in the system, right? So those kind of cosmetic things this API gateway can do, right? But the main crux is the routing. Now you move to the profile, right? You made this call, and then here I have uploaded my images and also name, age, my preferences, right? And then it goes through load balancer. Why load balancer? Because all of these are horizontally scalable, right? These are not like this is there is no not only one user service, there are multiple user services. So that's why you need to put a load balancer in front of that. Now, so you have a user service, right, where a person is coming and then it's creating profile. Jagrit is creating its first profile. And then what is happening after that is, so you have this user DB, right? Or you can call this profile also. It's up to you. But why I'm calling this user is, right, because this flow that we are talking about, this flow would be there in 90% of the systems. This flow, right? So I want to keep things generic so that you can correlate this to some other function also, right? So that is the first part, right? So user will come in, create profile. What is happening? So I'm going to use SQL DB here because each user will have similar profile only, right? Everyone will have name, age, ID will be there, and then age preference also, gender preference, max media. Everyone will have this. It's not like a product detail, which for electronics it will vary and the for other it will vary. So SQL is a safe choice here. You can argue that you don't need ACID properties and whatnot, so you can go with NoSQL also. That is also a fair choice, but I would go with SQL DB here. So that's a simple approach. So I've created my profile. Now I'm looking for matches, right? So what happens next? So now, based on my preference, the second requirement that we discuss here is that I should be able to view the stack feed, right? So get the feed or a stack. So I'm going to call this a stack. In this, feed is generally used in terms of um, Facebook, Instagram, that when we open that there's a feed of posts that come to us. But here I'm going to use stack just to add a little bit of a flavor, right? So this is like a get stack API call. This is going to be post. This is be post and this is a get call, right? So these kind of questions can come up, but these will be very in the later stage, right? Main crux should be handled first. So we have a load balancer and then the request goes to our stack service. Now, what all stack service can do, right? So basically, what is the scenario? What is the question here? The question here is that Jagrit has opened the stack and this Jagrit has some preferences, right? Now we need to give him some 10 user profiles, right? Or some X user profiles. who have the similar preference. For example, let's take a simple age preference. So if I am asking for opposite gender people, girls around 15, like 25 to 30 age or 20 to 30 age, then every female gender in this 20 to 30 age becomes a potential match for me because I only have put the age as of now. Then I can also gender preference also, then the distance also, then we will filter them on a distance also, right? So let's say if I'm in Punjab, then somewhere around Punjab, right? We will filter. Punjab is a very big location. You have to come deep down into a city level, right? Or a pin code level. So that is another filter. But other than that, you have more filters, right? Whether I like coffee, they also like coffee. Whether I like Punjabi songs, they also like Punjabi songs, right? So those kind of things also will come into picture, right? Now, what is the naive way of doing this? Naive way of doing this is that I can do something like this. I can do select star from users where anywhere between 18 to 40, right? I can interested in, and I can just do a search on this table, right? I can probably call this user service. I have kept this stack service separate because this is going to have some other functionalities. Naive way could be that okay, stack is also going to this and this user service is filtering this DB. But now the call from stack service will be made to this user service to get the list of all this. But yes, that has another concern that you are creating a new service itself. So this could stay with this also. But anyway, we are not going to follow this. This is going to do some particular other things also. That's why I've kept this separate. So what is going to happen in an ideal way, right, or in a better way? What I'm going to do is, right, whenever a user profile is created or is updated, we are going to put an event into a Kafka or anywhere, but eventually that data is going to flow to Elasticsearch, right? So we are going to use something that is called ELK here, right? So the data will flow to Elasticsearch, and then the search on this Elasticsearch is fairly easy, right? I can search on based on the keyword. So the keywords for this would be find users with the age 18 to 40 because this is like a search optimized DB. And then for this lat and long things, because these are 2D search, there are other concepts like geohash and whatnot. But again, that is not the crux of this. Crux will be in the swipe things. But for now, I'll just abstract that logic by saying that okay, I'm going to use Elasticsearch. So the stack service is going to query for this stack service. Now, what could happen is that Jagrat is again coming in. He's always on Bumble, so he opens the Bumble app and then sees that okay, what are the matches. So for based on Jagrat preference, we are going to call this Elastic service and show the stack to me, right, or to Jagrat. Now there are a lot of people, right? It's not just I'm not the only one using Bumble, right? Let's say some other people, Ronaldo is also, he probably doesn't need to be on Bumble, but let's say, so Neymar is on Bumble. Neymar is kind of person you would find on Bumble, right? So Neymar is on Bumble. So now what would happen in that case is that like for him or for anyone else, right? This is one way of doing that you are doing on demand, right? But another thing that we could do is we could pre-compute the fields. This data like user profile is happening on a side, right? It's not like that these both are not synchronous robots. First the person will create the profile. So once the profile creation is done, right, what this tag service can do is, right, it can pre-compute the fields. So what I mean that pre-compute, so this operation where we search, right, so for the particular user we would do that offline, right? Even whether the user is active or not, it doesn't matter. We will do that and then we would store that in some kind of a redis db, right? Just a key value pair. So it is going to look like this. For key user id, consider this as my user id, and then for me I have been showing angel priya and princess priya ids, right? So if now I open my stack and then I am going to use see these two profiles, right? Now ttl is very important here. Let's say it should not be like that. If I don't have a ttl time to live here, then I would only be seeing these two profiles even if they would have updated their profile, right? So we don't want to keep these values for let's say more than 60 minutes. 60 minutes is ideally okay. So that is how I would show. So you would have a pre-computation, mix of pre-computation. If I am that, so I could just fetch from StackDB to make it faster, or I could pre-compute on the demand, right? So we don't have to run this costliest query every time. So that would be the approach that I would use in this. Again, guys, there could be better approaches, but this is like one way of doing things, right? So now and then stack service is okay, right? Now what happens, right? So okay, I've been shown a stack of let's say Angel Priya, and for some reason I liked Angel Priya, and I would like to talk to her, right? So what is going to happen now? So again, we will have a swipe. So this is again going to be a post call. So we are at this third functionality. Again, Jagrit is on Bumble. So Angel Priya's uh, profile has been shown to him, and he's interested, and he would like to swipe right. Now the swipe is again going to go to a swipe service, right? It's a different service. Now what is going to happen in a swipe service, right? So swipe is fairly as simple, like the payload is simple. So you have user one. So user one is here, Jagrit, and then the user two is Priya, and I am swiping right, right. So that's the simple way. Angel Priya, not just Priya, Angel Priya. Now, what would happen, right? It's a post call to swipe service. One of the important decision here is that which DB you are going to use, right? You could, so as there would be millions of swipe as we discussed, right? There are like 100 swipes per user per day, right? And then there are 100K requests and daily active users are 100 million. So 100 million and then this 100 into that, those many number of swipes are there because each user is swiping 100, right? And then there are 100 million daily active, so that is like 100 into 100, that's like billion. So swipes are there in billion, that's a huge data, right? Now we could either go with commoner data like Cassandra because those are append only. So append only means that it is not optimized for updates, you are just appending the data and then putting into a disk. So that would be one choice there, right? You go with the Cassandra, or you go with even NoSQL would work fine here. But the thing is that you need as consistency, right? So that's something that you need out of the box. Now here two choices are there, but as I would like to keep things simple, so I'm going to go with a Postgres. So this is like a relational DB and it comes with asset property by default. I'll explain why do we need asset properties, right? Now let's imagine that, right? Now simultaneously Angel Priya is also there on the Bumble, Jagrit is also there on the Bumble, right? Now I swiped Angel Priya right at 0.01, right? Let me just use that expand. So I swiped at 0 or 1 second, right? Let's say I swiped, this is Jagrit, right? And then just I'll do a time check. So we are right on the time. So, and then at and 1 second only, Angel Priya also did a swipe right, right? So we both did a swipe right. But if let's say this was normal DB, right? In this swipe service, I would check whether, so this is like Jagrit to Angel Priya, and this is Angel Priya. Right. Now, what would happen is that I am going to swipe right Angel Priya, and then when this happened, right, if we are going with eventual consistency, I am going to check whether Angel Priya to Jagrit is there. It is not there, right? So I am going to say that okay, no match. And then for Angel Priya again, Angel Priya to Jai, both are happening simultaneously. For this also, it is not there, right? So just imagine that the DB state this has is also before no match. So like say DB state. They both have this DB state, right? DB state A. So here DB state A goes to this, and here DB state A goes to this, right? So they both are not aware of that each other have matched. So one of the fix to this would be that you can have a cron job and that checks after 10 minutes, and every time based on that you will check that either if there are any missed matches, and then you will send out the push notification. So this is the notification part. But here I would go with PostgreSQL. Why? So how I'm going to store the swipe is that you have a user A and user B. In this case, this could be Jagrit, Angel Priya, but I have said that we could just sort them by their first name, right? So user A, let's say, is Angel Priya, and then user B is Jagrit, right? So now what we are going to do in this case is when a swipe from Jagrit to Angel Priya comes, right? Now in this case, our first user will be Jagrit, right? The person who is doing a swipe, right? Now in this case, I will mark this as true. This is marked true, right? This is one row. Now when Angel Priya wants to do the swipe on this, right? If this my operation is already doing, so then this would be logged, right? This is the row level log. Now this would be, this Angel Priya to Jagrit would happen only after once this is complete. So in this case, I would definitely check that, okay, my value is already true and user B's also is now becoming true, right? Now, if both of these become true, then straight away from that only I can send the notification. So either if my operation got completed first, then Angel Priya would get the notification. If let's say her operation had already gotten first, I would get the notification that okay, match is found. So that would be the check here, right? That would how the operation looks like. Now using no SQL DB, I have used the out of the box ACID property, but this is going to be expensive here, right? PostgreSQL is expensive because of these reasons only, right? If not properly managed, this is a typical deadlock scenario, right? So then coming to this, right, and also, so this would be like how the swipe would look like, how would you would send the notification, right? This would be like push notifications comes into picture if the user was offline. Let's say I was offline, so when I will open, then I would get a push notification on the top. Just answering the last question, right? Don't show the repeat people. So how I am think we can tackle that is, so you have this tag service, right? So I can just do a check on this swipe service whether this particular user, in this case Jagrat, has already swiped, or let's say Angel Priya has already swiped no to Jagrat, right? So I can just do a check here and then filter the stack based on that. So this stack in this, let's say Angel Priya has already put me swiped left, right, then there is no point of me. Or if I have already swiped left Angel Priya, there is, you should remove this from that stack, right? So that's pretty much about Bumble. It's like 25 minutes, but 5 minutes I was talking about these random stuff. If you think of this Bumble, I think we were pretty much on time. But so this is the design, how I would like to design Bumble. Feel free to let me know in chat. What do you think? What do you think is a bottleneck of the system? But in an ideal interview setting, this would be a fairly okay design at a mid-level candidate, right? I think 3 to 5 years of experience. So, but again, as I mentioned, these are like short videos, right? Short, quick to revise, and then quick to know if you're curious, just like Netflix short series. But if you want to learn more about the things, this is a link. I'll attach this link in the chat also. So these are all the resources that I have personally used. Grokking system design is really good. Karam Batab is really good. Hello interview is really good. System design book is also really good, right? And also data intensive book is also really good. So with that said, thank you guys. Have a nice day. Bye.